balance. Just moments after I tried to end my life in suicide, I was filled with regret as I clung onto the abundant preciousness of this life. My suicide attempt has been a catalyst in my passion for suicide prevention and recovery from mental illness. For myself, and in my aspirations to act as a beacon of hope and change agent for others overwhelmed with mental turmoil. I was once filled with crushing emptiness, perpetuating hopelessness, and a sense of inescapable helplessness after a lifelong battle filled with adversity from trauma, mental health struggles, and constant stress. I lost sight of the light at the end of the tunnel. I believed I was fatally flawed and tainted by pain. In desperation for relief, I thought the only option was to end my life, and that everyone I knew would be better off without me. I struggled with intense, exhausting suicidal ideation for several months, while still maintaining to fulfill my responsibilities. I continued to see my psychiatrist and therapist throughout this time, and called the crisis line twice, resulting in hospitalization each time. But every time I thought I had finally hit the bottom, I found out rock bottom has a basement. My life was like a never-ending roller coaster ride in the dark. My mental health continued to deteriorate, and circumstances surrounding me seemed to only get worse. I felt trapped and defenseless, as I no longer had the energy to control my internal responses to external situations. In this state of suicidal thinking, a paradigm shift occurred, and everything fed the belief system that my life no longer served a purpose. And the lightless tunnel vision consumed my being. On an ordinary day in late October, I encountered a relatively small stressor. However, it felt like a colossal event in my state of mind. Fueled by irrational impulsivity, I entered a state of cognitive constriction, or tunnel vision, in which the only option for relief was to take my own life. Though I was filled with regret and grateful I had survived, very little had changed. I was still the same person in the same situation, and still unable to see hope for the future that is where the incredible journey of hard work and healing begins. I was referred to a higher level of care and placed in an intensive outpatient program for cognitive behavioral and dialectical behavioral therapy over the next 3 months, where I searched for hope to find some meaning and purpose for my life. And my experiences through learning how to challenge my thought patterns and develop skillful tools to manage my life. In this space between hopelessness and a life worth living, I found acceptance through my amazing therapist and her incredible ability to sit with my pain while still holding shatterproof hope for a future where I had the ability to recognize my own potential and grow into all that I had to offer. The magic that existed in that space created something for me to hold on to when all felt hopeless. Healing is a process without a one-size-fits-all pathway to recovery, but each step serves a purpose to move from surviving to thriving. The first step for me was identifying my support system and making a commitment to reach out when I became overwhelmed and I felt I had reached my capacity for coping. This accountability allowed space for me to learn how to navigate life again. I constantly adapted my tools as I moved through my process and encountered new experiences. At the same time, I began to shift my focus to the little things that I was grateful for, acknowledging that even in darkness, there were moments filled with light, and embracing these moments would change my perspective and add meaning to my experiences. Over time, I progressed from a place where I needed someone else's hope to a place where even if I couldn't feel hope in the moment, I knew it was there and that my life was worth fighting for. Recovery is a pulse and not a linear ascent upwards. As my therapist said, it is 5 steps forward and 3 steps back, but it is still progress. It took time for me to be able to see the progress, and again, I relied on my support system to reinforce the progress I had made. As time progressed, I began to experience some of the most important moments of my life, recognizing that while they were not all joyful moments, they froze time and enabled me to see my purpose, because they were moments I wouldn't want to have missed. This was a pivotal shift to acceptance and understanding that I didn't have to always feel positive emotions to experience a life worth living. Because regardless of external circumstances, I had control internally for finding meaning and purpose in everything I encountered. Slowly, I was beginning to move from a place of surviving to thriving, And as I faced some of my worst fears, I was able to find moments of joy and gratitude, creating a counterbalance to every experience and a space between the opposing forces of good and bad. The magic of life occurs in the space between, where peace is created by finding synthesis in the balance of opposites instead of conflict. This understanding changed my perspective of everything and fueled my growth because for the first time, I could hold my own space and see that I was cracked, but still complete in my own reflection. It was in this process of becoming that I began to see my progress and become content because I knew I was exactly where I needed to be. It has taken time and persistence to move to a place where I'm excited for where I am going. Though I still struggle, what I considered bad days have become only bad hours as they become farther and fewer in between. At my worst, I don't always feel like I want to live, and I still have battles with suicidal ideation, but I know always hope exists. There is not a day that goes by that I am not grateful that I survived, and I can feel my perception constantly changing. When I look and see how much things have changed, and see that I am grateful for this massive collection of moments I was blessed enough to participate in, it gives me a reason to just hang on a little bit longer, because maybe I won't want to miss whatever good or bad that comes next. Thank you.